Hallo und herzlich willkommen zur neuen Folge von daddelt, Aviary Attorney. Wir haben all unsere Nachforschungen erstmal erledigt und gehen jetzt einfach mal in the Palace of Justice, Houses, the High Court, a place reserved for only the most serious of crimes. Gehen wir mal ins Hochheiligste. Falcon and Sparrowson stand inside the marble portico of the Palais de Justice, awaiting the opening of the Tribunal de Grande Instance. Are you nervous, Falcon? Ich sag gar nichts. That bad, hm? Monsieur Falcon, petit Sparrowson, is there anything you need me to do? Oh no, we got a handle on things. Falcon was just telling me how confident he was feeling about the case. That's wonderful. I just know you two will pull it through.
Let's move it along, fellas.
I'll be watching from inside. Do your best for me, Monsieur Falcon. We will! Are we ready?
Yeah, we are ready.
Damn. Alright, settle down everyone, settle down. Is everybody here?
J.J. Falcon present. The defense is ready, Your Honor.
Rupert Rabbit present, ready as prosecution, Your Honor. Darn, that's not it. Oh gosh, where are my notes?
Ah, I knew it! Knew what?
Rupert and I went to Paris Law School together. He was in all of my classes.
Oh, was he smart?
Oh, he always scored the second worst marks in the class. I can only assume that he bumbled through the final exams on the luck of his two rabbits' feet. Unless he's improved considerably, you might already have this trial in the bag.
That's good to know. What say, Sparrowson? If Rupert scored the second lowest marks in the class, then who scored the lowest?
I choose to exercise my right to not self-incriminate. Here it is. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The jury all present.
All present and accounted for, Your Honor.
Hey, Falcon! I thought there were only 6 members of the jury for cases like this. Why do I count 8?
Oh, those two birds with the funny hats are assessors, the associate judges.
Everything seems to be in order, so let us begin. The court is now in session for the trial of Dame Cataline de Meow. Prosecution, please call your first witness to the stand. Oh gosh, are we there already? Okay. I choose to call the officer in charge of the murder investigation, Inspector Volerti, to the witness stand. Inspector Volerti, please approach the stand to recite the oath.
As you will, Your Honor. I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Monsieur, no! Inspector, please state your name and occupation for the record.
My name is Inspector Just Volerti. I am a servant to the law, a scourge of the gutter rats that plague this city. I have enforced the law for over 20 years, and I shall continue until I bring the infamous Meridian Killer to justice. My path begins 18 years ago.
Let's stick to the questions, Inspector.
Of course, Your Honor.
Oh, great. I was hoping we could have one of those bumbling, cuddly officers, but instead we're stuck with a lawful goody two-shoes. I bet this guy would turn in his own mother if he saw her littering. So, Inspector, is it true that you're the lead investigator in this case?
That is correct. I was also among the first to arrive at the scene of the crime.
Then perhaps you could walk us through what you witnessed upon your arrival?
Absolutely. Just after 7:30, we were alerted and brought to the scene by the housemaid of Baron Rogal. At the scene of the crime, we found Dame Catherine de Miao. She was standing over the corpse of Monsieur Greenway with his blood on her paws.
Well, that sounds like an open and shut case, in my humble opinion. No more questions, Your Honor.
Bloody paws! Nobody told me that detail.
Keep it together, Falcon. You're about to be given the opportunity to cross-examine the witness. That's your opportunity to find flaws in the inspector's testimony.
Of course, I know this.
You may begin your cross-examination, Monsieur Falcon. Cross-examine the witness to find flaws in his testimony. Select a key phrase that you find suspicious and Falcon will press the witness for information. Schauen wir mal. Ask the right questions to bring the truth to light. Avoid pressing for pointless details. The judge and jury don't like having their time wasted. Fact a statement to question. You were alerted and brought off the scene by the housemaid of Baron Roger. At the scene of the crime, we found she was standing over the sliced open corpse of Monsieur Greenway with blood on her paws. Blood on her paws. Was davon ist jetzt suspicious? Over the sliced open corpse. And the housemaid. Das hat der Typ auch gesagt. Der Baron. Ich frag mal nach dem.
Inspector, you say Dame Catherine had blood on her paws? Correct. Blood clung to her fur like guilt to a convict.
How much blood was there?
How much blood was there on the lady's paws, Inspector?
Enough for it to be clear that she had dirtied her hands on the victim's body. We noticed blood under the suspect's nails, around her fingertips, and even a little around her mouth. Her mouth? How vile!
Inspector's answer seems pretty definitive.
Do you have another question about the blood on Dame Catherine's paws? Ja, ziehen das mal durch. Whose blood?
Whose blood was it?
Ha! What a question! It was Monsieur Greenweave's, of course.
How can you be so sure?
I object. This line of questioning is absurd. There was only one murder victim that night, Falcon. The blood on Dame Catherine's paws could have only belonged to one person, Monsieur Greenway. Judge! Falcon's trying to delay the trial by asking pointless questions. I'm afraid the prosecution may have a point, Monsieur Falcon. Do you have any reason to suspect the blood belonged to someone other than Monsieur Greenway? Nein.
I do not. Yeah.
Wait, Falcon! You're onto something.
I am?
Yes, I can sense it. Look through your evidence. Maybe there's something there that can give you a clue. bloody rare stick. Natürlich. Natürlich, die hatten ja kein Besteck.
Oh, I'm not sure where this is going, but I'll try anyway.
Alright, let's try again. Monsieur Facon, do you have a reason to suspect that the blood on Dame Cataline's paws did not belong to Monsieur Greenway?
I do, Your Honor. Actually, I've more than suspicion. I've evidence that the blood of Dame Cataline's paws had nothing to do with the murder.
This is foolish time wasting. Fucking. If the blood on Dame Cataline's paws didn't come from the victim, then where did the blood come from?
Steak. On the evening of the murder, Dame Cataline ate a bloody rare steak.
Is this true, Monsieur Remington? Well, in the manner of speaking, I suppose steak may have been on the menu.
Then, Inspector, would you acknowledge the possibility that the blood on the lady's paws did not belong to the victim, but to the steak?
Well... wait, don't answer that, Inspector.
It is a possibility.
No! You gained a little favor with the jury.
So, Inspector Molerti, is it possible that you arrested an innocent bystander simply for being a messy eater?
No, hold on just a minute, Falcon. You are overlooking something quite crucial. Dame Cataline is an elegant bourgeois kitten. She was no doubt brought up with a flawless etiquette and a perfect table manners. At the banquet, she would have eaten the steak with a fork in her left hand and a knife in her right, like a brandy proper civilized animal. How could she have possibly got blood on her paws with such a good manners?
Oh, that's a good question. Or at least it would be at any ordinary dinner banquet. But as it happened, something was missing from that particular banquet. Something that forced Dame Cataline to eat with her paws. Das Besteck. Dame Cataline was forced to eat steak with her paws because the silverware of the household has been previously stolen.
Stolen? I don't recall any mention of that in the police report.
We weren't aware of anything missing from the Rogal residence when we performed the initial investigation. But as it happened, Baron Rogal approached us about this very subject last night.
Oh. Ooh. What is the meaning of all this? Bloody steak, misplaced silverware. Inspector, was your investigation so lax that you overlooked these basic facts in your initial report?
Lax? My investigation, Judge, I assure you I am not. I am the most thorough investigative officer on the force.
Then it is amazing that the Parisian police managed to solve any crimes at all. Oh dear. Be on your way, Inspector. Perhaps do a little inspecting for your next case.
Fine, so be it, monsieur. Until next time.
Prosecutor, I trust your next witness is ready. Yes, of course, Your Honor. I call upon, let's see, Monsieur Robinho, the photographer who attended the banquet on the night of the murder. Monsieur Robinho, please approach the stand and recite the oath. How does it go? I swear to speak without hatred and without fear, to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. It's a little cliché, to be perfectly honest. Could the witness please introduce himself for the court record? As if anybody in this courtroom does not immediately recognize me. I am the great Monsieur Robinho, cutting-edge photographer and visionary. I don't just take people's pictures, I capture their very essence. Je suis l'artiste, tu es une pipe. You may have seen my works in hip magazines like Le Brochet or C'est Chouette. I can send you tweets if you like.
What on earth is a tweet?
Bird-to-bird communication. Come on, Falcon, it's the 19th century. Get with the times already. Yes, your works are very impressive, Monsieur Robinho. But let's get on to business. Could you tell us your activities were on the night of the murder? Very well. I was hired by Baron Rogal to capture the evening's events. I arrived at 7 in the evening, I pointed my camera and captured the beauty of the banquet in one fantastic photograph. Then I built Baron Rogal and left. Like a true artist. With regards to the photograph itself, who did you photograph? I thought you might ask. I brought a copy so that you could all see for yourselves. Oh, well, very good. Let's take a closer look.
What? Das stimmt ja gar nicht.
My word, this is an exquisite picture, isn't it? So let's see, who do we have here? In the middle we see Baron Rogal, the lion who hosted the event. On the left we see Seigneur Boudoir de Bien, the father of the defendant, Dame Cataline. And finally we see the housemaid, Colinio, who I suspect may have snuck into the picture uninvited. As you can see, two people are clearly absent from the photograph. The first is the victim, Monsieur Grenouille. The second is the defendant, Dame Cataline de Miao. Quite suspicious. Wouldn't you agree?
Just a moment, Monsieur Rabbit. This proves nothing. So the defendant and the victim were not photographed with the others. That doesn't mean that they were in the garden together at that point.
Hold your horses, Falcon. I'm not done yet. The prosecution may continue. Behind the photograph subjects, we see a wall clock with the time set 7:30. Now, why is that time significant? Well, as Inspector Volerti told us earlier, that was the exact time the murder took place. Do you see, Falcon? Every suspect has an alibi at the time of the murder, save for Dame Cataline herself.
Hey, Falcon, that photograph doesn't seem right. It looks different to the one we borrowed from Robinho's studio. I see it too. Our photograph shows Colindio, Dame Cataline, and Seigneur Boudoir. But Monsieur Robinho's photograph shows Baron Rogal where Dame Cataline should be standing. If we assume that only one photograph was taken, then this demonstrates that one of the photographs must have been edited in some way. You should slam the evidence down, be like, BAM! Inconsistency! This whole courtroom is out of order, case closed. I can't do that.
Well, I suppose you could be a little more delicate with your words.
No, I mean, I can't do that because our evidence was illegally obtained. If we were to present it, Monsieur Robinho would ask how we acquired it and the whole trial could derail. In a worst case scenario, I could lose my legal license and we would be arrested for theft.
Oh, well, we don't want that.
No, we don't. I should treat lightly. Your Honor, I would like to cross-examine the witness.
Very well, the defense may proceed. It's a waste of time, if you ask me. Photographs are rock-solid evidence. Select a statement to question. At 7 p.m. I set up my camera and captured the beauty of the evening in one magnificent photograph. Then I built Barrel and left. I would like to ask about the camera itself. Go on.
How exactly does the camera work?
I am afraid that is a patented trade secret.
Oh, but it is a mechanical device, yes? You point it at something and then it clicks and whirs and out shoots out the photographer?
That's quite a crass explanation. It is true that I point and click the camera, but that only creates a negative, a prototype of sorts. I then have to develop the photograph, and that takes time.
How much time exactly?
Around 4 days. This photograph is hot off the press, if you will.
I suppose that does explain why the Baron hasn't received his photograph yet. Can a camera ever make mistakes?
Now, there's a question only an imbecile, technophobic Philistine could ask. No, monsieur, the camera is flawless device. My photographs offer perfect reflection of reality, nothing more, nothing less.
So, if there were any inconsistency between a photograph and reality, what would that imply?
Odd question. I don't think such a thing could ever be possible.
But if one were to see such a thing...
Fucking stop dancing around the point and tell us what you're trying to get at.
I see a mistake in the photograph.
A mistake? Impossible. I just told you, monsieur, the camera is perfect, unbiased device. The photographs it produces are flawless. Fucking, I'm not seeing any mistakes, perhaps. Could you be more specific?
Certainly. Click on the area of the photograph that you believe contains mistakes. The clock in this photograph, there is something not right about it.
Oh, well, isn't that convenient? The defense sees something wrong with the key piece of evidence and implicates his client.
Don't give me that cocky tone, Monsieur Remington. I have evidence that there's something wrong with the clock in that picture.
Just no hands.
The photograph clearly shows the clock's hands pointing at 7 and 6.
That much is self-evident.
Which is most curious, because the clock in the lounge of Chateau Grenier has no hands.
It has no hands?
The clock is merely a decorative piece, a talking item. Feel free to ask Baron Rogal or his housemaid if you have doubts. Monsieur Robinho, how do you explain this discrepancy?
I don't know. There must be some sort of mistake. My camera is flawless.
There is no mistake, monsieur. Your photograph depicts something that does not exist in the real world.
Maybe there was an error in the printing process.
An error precisely where the clock's hand should be? Please, monsieur, don't patronize us. Allow me to offer a more plausible explanation. You, monsieur Robinho, edited this photograph.
Edited?
I'm no expert, but I suspect that you used paint or ink to carefully put hands upon the clock. It would have been a simple task, considering that the clock face was bare. One could even speculate that you specifically chose to include a handless clock in the photograph just to simplify the editing process.
Fucking, your reasoning is absurd. Why would the witness do such a thing?
Is it not obvious? By showing the photograph to have taken place at precisely 7:30, it clears all the photograph suspects for suspicion. In other words, Monsieur Robinho created a perfect alibi. Of course, this raises further questions. Who is the witness protecting? And why? Was Monsieur Robinho coerced, bribed, threatened? Enough silence. Let's hear some answers, Monsieur Robinho.
Fine. You've got me. I'm guilty. I did it all. You did it? You're confessing to the murder of Monsieur Greenweed? What? No. I have no idea who killed the frog. I'm just admitting that I'm guilty of producing fraudulent photographs. I was ordered to make changes to the printed photographs, and yes, that included adding hands to the clock.
You were ordered? By who?
I dare not to say.
Monsieur Robinho, I strongly advise you to answer the defense's question. You have pledged to speak without fear, after all.
With respect, Judge, I fear his claws more than I fear the punishment of the justice system. I shall name no names.
His claws? Did you hear that, Falcon? That is most unfortunate. Monsieur Robinho, we cannot and shall not torture names out of you. We don't live under the ancient regime, after all. But since you have admitted to falsifying evidence, then we cannot keep you on the stand as a witness. Take your leave. You shall be charged with perjury in due course.
I can't protest. That's the least I deserve for my failure as an artist. Good day, messieurs. So, the clock's hands were painted on. So what? It doesn't matter. The photograph still depicts Dame Kathleen as absent close to the time of the murder. That's significant.
Don't be dense, Monsieur Remington. If the photograph is not completely genuine, then it cannot be considered reliable evidence.
Why not? It is still a portrayal of the night's events.
Because if we accept that one part of the picture was edited, then we must accept the possibility that other parts were too. It is possible that Dame Kathleen was painted out. Even worse, it is possible that another person was painted in. We know that the witness was trying to cover over someone, so all possibilities must be accounted for.
So, what are you saying, Falcon? That the housemaid paid off the photographer? Or was it Senor Portrodemio, perhaps?
I don't think so. The housemaid lacks a means or motive, and it wouldn't make sense for Senor Portrait to implicate his own daughter.
Well, surely you're not suggesting that the honest and beloved Baron Rogel deliberately tried to frame Dame Kathleen? Because that would be the most outlandish theory yet. The Baron is a pillar of our community. He would never do such a thing.
Monsieur Remington, I'm not here to throw accusations. That's the job of you, the prosecutor. However,
maybe I should offer my opinion. Baron, it's not time for your witness testimony yet. So you would think, prosecutor, and yet I see my good reputation getting tarnished by your incompetence. Incompetence? Indeed. Let us proceed with witness questioning. Is that fine with you, Judge?
Yes, I suppose that's fine.
Very good, and I trust the defense has no objections.
no objections here.
Fantastic. Oh, but before I forget, I pledge to speak without fear and prejudice, etc., etc. Now, prosecutor, ask me about what I witnessed over the course of the evening. Okay. On the night, the initial dinner went magnificently when the photographer arrived. Monsieur Greenweed left to visit the garden. Dame Kathleen followed behind just moments later. Senor Potois, Monsieur Robinho and myself were engaged in conversation, so we paid her no mind. After the photographer had left, my housemaid left to go find Monsieur Greenweed and Dame Kathleen. That would be when I heard the cry for help. Thank you, Baron. I think we all know the story from here.
I would like to cross-examine the witness.
Do you doubt my integrity, garçon?
I'm just here to uncover the truth, Baron.
Very well then, hit me with your best shot. Let us establish with absolute certainty that I, Baron Rogal, am an honest man. The defense may proceed with the cross-examination. Jetzt darf ich doch bestimmt das Foto zeigen, oder? Dinner went missing when the photographer arrived. Mr. Greenby left to visit the garden. My housemaid discovered the pair just after the left as a coffee. Discovered the pair just after the photographer left. Moment. When the photographer arrived, left him there, followed behind a few moments later.
Oh, Rogal, I have a couple of questions about your housemate. Continue. Does your housemate smoke cigars?
Well, that question came out of the left field. Definitely not. Mademoiselle Deho detests the smell of tobacco.
I see.
Putting together a bigger picture, are we?
I think so. The pieces are slowly falling into place.
You have another question about the housemate? Yes, I do. Never mind. On second thoughts, we've talked about the housemate enough already, haven't we? Let's change the subject.
Oh, Walker, I would like to ask about the dinner you served that evening.
Very well. Ask away.
Earlier today, we established that silverware was stolen from your residence prior to the banquet.
Indeed, I am aware of whom the culprit is, but I have decided not to press charges.
It is curious then that you decided to serve steak. It isn't what one would describe as finger food, after all.
I don't know about that, Falcon. With the right attitude, all food can be finger food. There is nothing curious about it. Signor Portois and Dame Cataline are vocal lovers of rare steak. I was merely suiting their needs. Besides, what other choice did the Baron have, Falcon? Serve vegetable broth like a common peasant? Do be quiet, prosecutor. You sound ridiculous. Sorry, Baron. Do you have another question about the dinner?
Yes. Red herring, das bringt wahrscheinlich gar nichts. Now about this red herring.
Yes, what about it?
I'm not sure, but I feel it is of vital importance to the case.
Falcon, I just want to clarify this. Are you saying that you wish to pursue the red herring? Ich glaube, das ist tatsächlich sowas, ne? Machen wir mal.
Yes, I wish to closely examine and question the piece of evidence that is overly labeled as a red herring. This is the type of bird that I am. I see a trail that clearly veers away from my goal, but I follow it anyway. Perhaps the path leads to better things, perhaps it leads to failure. What matters is that my curiosity is satisfied. You're a strange bird, Falcon.
Jury are confused by your, but they appreciate your honesty. You don't gain or lose any favor with them. Can we please return to the case at hand? Do you have another? Yes. No. Select the statement to question. Monsieur Greenby,
Argyle, I have some questions about Monsieur Grinby.
God rest his soul.
What was your relation to Monsieur Grinby prior to his demise?
We were business partners. Monsieur Grinby, Senior Pourtois de Miao, and myself all own the third share in an up-and-coming railway company.
Excuse the crassness of this question, but that means that you and Senior Pourtois would now own half of the company each, correct?
Correct. I suppose that's a slight glimmer of benefit that arose from this foul situation. But, Monsieur, you must understand that Monsieur Grinby and I were friends as much as we were business associates. I mourn the man's passing.
Of course.
Another question? Yep, die andere.
Why did Monsieur Grinby leave to visit the garden?
I believe he wanted some fresh air. The steak did not sit well with him, I fear.
Oh, I see. But that is quite coincidental timing, isn't it?
How so?
Well, Monsieur Grinby felt sick and left the room just after the photographer arrived and just before the murder occurred. One might draw a link between the food and the sickness.
Oh, don't fucking surely you're suggesting that Monsieur Grinby's food was poisoned in some way?
Kann ich das beweisen? I am. The events are too closely tied to be a mere coincidence. I'm no expert, but I think the steak would have been the perfect medium to carry a small amount of poison.
My word, what a revelation, but what evidence do you have of this poisoning? Bearing in mind, of course, that the coroner found no signs of poisoning and no poison was found at the crime scene?
Oh, well, to be completely honest, there is no hard evidence of poisoning, but we can speculate.
No, Monsieur Falcon, we cannot. There is no need to bring outlandish theories like poisoning into the equation. Monsieur Grinby always had a soft stomach. It's really no surprise that he could keep down a good rare steak. Grinby, nein.
The garden. Baron, we saw the murder scene, your garden, for ourselves. When was the last time you ventured into your own garden?
As it happens, I have quite serious allergies. I haven't been in my own garden for years.
Years, you say?
Indeed.
That's not... Baron, I do not wish to call you a liar, but that claim does not hold up to scrutiny.
Oh, and why is that?
Because we have hard evidence that you have visited the garden recently. Walderush, my word is gold.
Show the court the so-called hard evidence that I've been in my garden.
This was found in your garden. To be specific, it was found inside the fountain basin. Right beside where the murder occurred.
Sick cupboard? That could belong to anybody in.
Prosecutor, please shut your mouth. I can speak for myself.
Okay, sorry, Baron. That is indeed the remnants of one of my cigars, but I must apologize, Monsieur Falcon, for I misunderstood your initial question. You see, prior to the banquet, I hadn't visited my own garden in years. But naturally, after hearing the housemaid's cry for help on the evening of the murder, I rushed outside. I was shocked and disgusted by what I saw. That must have been when I dropped my half-smoked cigar in the fountain basin. You see, Falcon, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation.
I would find that believable if the cigar were casually discarded. But as it happened, the cigar butt was found in the fountain's upper basin, a location that could only be accessed with great inconvenience.
And a little peddling.
The cigar butt was not dropped, it was deliberately hidden.
There are any number of possible explanations.
Are there? Because I can only think of one. That is that you, Baron Rawgile, deliberately hid your cigar butt to disguise your own illicit activities.
Did I? Now? And what illicit activities would those be?
You want me to spell it out? Fine. Let's put everything on the table. You, Baron Rawgile, murdered Monsieur Greenweed. That is what you were trying to keep hidden.
Directly accusing me of murder. How shamelessly brazen. That is a ludicrous accusation, Falcon. The Baron is an upstanding citizen of the highest order. Your allegation is baseless. You have no evidence, no means, motive, or opportunity.
No evidence? Think harder, Monsieur Remington. Every piece of evidence points to Baron Rawgile as the prime suspect. What the means? The Baron certainly had the means. His lion's claws are as sharp as a surgeon's blade. Cutting a frog belly would be trivial to him. Even Monsieur Rubinho confessed just moments ago that he feared his claws.
Ridiculous. I would never threaten a man with violence.
You want a motive? The Baron had at least 10,000 thrall worth of motive. By removing a business partner, the Baron's share of his railway company increased from 1/3 to 1/2.
This is preposterous.
And finally, the Baron had an opportunity. No, he crafted the perfect opportunity. He arranged a small banquet with a very select number of guests. He was aware of the missing silverware, and yet he served steak, a food item that necessitates good cutlery. Why? To bloody the hands of his guests, of course. Then he hired an easily influenced photographer and staged a very specific picture in order to build a perfect alibi for himself. Photographing the guests in front of a handless clock to make for easy editing was quite an ingenious plan, it must be said. Prosecutor, are you just going to let the slanderous yawn go uncontested? Say something. Object! Oh, you're pitifully useless. After executing the murder, the Baron found himself still holding a single piece of incriminatory evidence, his finished cigar. He knew that leaving it at the crime scene would raise suspicion, but he didn't have time to properly dispose of it. So out of desperation, he threw it into this fountain, out of the sight of his guests and any snooping police. I imagine the Baron was hoping to implicate Signor Portois de Mieux, since that would ensure total control over his railway company. Alas, Dame Cataline was the first to happen upon the crime scene, so the Baron improvised. That is an outrage! Judge, I demand that you disbar this ranting lunatic. No, there's only one outrage here. That is that a man like yourself is able to abuse his wealth and status to frame an innocent girl for murder. You're bourgeois of the worst kind. How dare you, garçon? You have the nerve for a lying scumbag of a lawyer to accuse a philanthropist like myself of something so heinous. I'm nothing like the fat cat bourgeois. I'm a respectable, hard-working capitalist. No, you are a ruthless man who would slaughter dear friend just to win a few francs. You're incredulous whelp. I ought you got you right here and now like a damned frog.
Could someone please restrain the Baron?
I want it, Your Honor. Let's go, old man. To the conciergerie with you. Don't touch me, you filthy jackdaw. I can walk myself. This is quite a turn of events. Does the prosecution have anything to add?
Well, in the manner of speaking, well, to be honest, no.
Then I shall now confer with the members of the jury to come to a decision. I ask that the animals of the court please be patient in this time.
Fucking, that was pretty incredible. Thank you. I just hope it was enough. What do you mean? You just proved Kataline's innocence. We'll get a not guilty verdict for sure. Sparathon, I think you've misunderstood something important about the justice system. What's that? I haven't proved anything. As lawyers, we cannot deal in proofs. It's just not possible. All we can do is organize the evidence and convincingly explain what it suggests. I haven't proved Dame Kataline's innocence. All I have done is demonstrate that there is a significant possibility that she is not guilty. I'm not sure that I understand the difference.
We have reached a decision. In light of the recent revelations, it is clear that an error of judgment was made with the initial arrest. On that note, we unanimously find the defendant, Dame Kataline de Miao, to be not guilty.
Das ist echt wie bei Felix Wright.
Monsieur Falcon, petit Sparrowson, you did it.
Yeah, I suppose we did it. Did we? We should head back to the office so we can celebrate properly. Boom. You did it, Falcon. I can't take all the credit. This was a group achievement.
I'm so proud of you both.
I'll go get 1 bottle of wine and 3 of our least dirty glasses.
You were amazing, Monsieur Falcon.
Oh, it was nothing.
I very much like the way you pinned the murder on the Baron. That was an act of sheer genius.
Well, I didn't pin anything. Sparrowson and I just worked at unveiling the truth given the facts of the case.
Monsieur Falcon, there is no need to play coy. The case is over.
Play coy?
Don't tell me you're actually being sincere.
I'm completely lost.
Oh, wow. I thought the goody-goody thing was an act, but you actually don't know. Alright, I'll spell it out for you. I murdered Monsieur Greenway. I saw him in the garden, all drunk and vulnerable, and I seized my opportunity. What? It was nothing personal, just business. You understand?
Business?
To increase my papa's share in the train company, of course. My papa always said that the drunk called Frog was the weakest link.
Your confession doesn't make any sense at all. I found Baron Rogart's cigar butt hidden in the garden.
Oh, I put it there. I expected the police to find it, but I suppose that was putting too much faith in the brains of Paris' finest.
But Falcon proved that Monsieur Robinho's photograph was edited.
It was edited. I wasn't in the picture because I was busy paying a visit to Monsieur Greenway in the garden. My papa knew I needed an alibi, so he ordered Monsieur Robinho to paint me over Baron Rogue Island to add hands to the clock. But that lazy artist didn't manage to finish altering either photograph by trial day. It's a good thing that Monsieur Falcon was so imaginative, because that could have gone very badly. What's with the silence? You should both be proud. There aren't many lawyers in the whole of France who could have won a case like this, even for a bourgeois kitty like me.
I think you should leave.
Fine.
So much for the celebrations. Here's a payment for your services, straight from my papa's pockets. Well, adieu, Monsieur Faucon, adieu, petit person. Falcon, what do we do now? Falcon? Your game has been... Do you wish to continue? No. Wir machen jetzt Schluss für heute. Das war Ende von Akt 1. Ihr seht es ja hier. Und wir machen beim nächsten Mal weiter bei Dennis Daddelt, Aviary Attorney. Alter, das macht Spaß, die guten alten Phoenix Wright Feelings, die kommen wieder hoch. Geil, geil, geil. Tschüss.